All right, hello everyone. I just have a few quick announcements. This should not take longer than just a few minutes for me to go over some things with you. I hope you all had a great spring break. Actually, the first thing for me to tell you is that I was very busy over spring break. I believe I have graded all of the first 5 assignments. So I know there might be some issues out there. I've been talking to a couple people about some assignments that didn't get submitted properly or something, but if you think there's been a problem, be happy to talk to you about that. But as of right now, I believe that the gradebook is up to date. I believe I've graded all of the first 5 assignments. So please take a look at that. Let me know if you see a problem. Let me know if there's anything you would like to talk about regarding those first 5 assignments. I'm not really accepting them anymore, unless there's been some kind of a grading issue or something like that. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is related to the project. So before spring break, I went through the process of setting up the project board and adding cards to it, and then when I turned everybody loose on it, it wasn't working right, and almost every group, I think, had problems getting their project board set up and with the cards. And so first off, I want to apologize. I should have tested that, I guess, a bit more thoroughly before class. The issue has to do with the fact that it was you all made forks of the original repository, and it just wasn't working properly on the forks for some reason. But the good news is that I figured that problem out over spring break, so I wanted to make sure to share that with everyone. To clear that up, it'll get you to the same place. It's just a little bit of a different process. This is a fake team that I made for the project. I'm the only person on this team. So in order to create new cards on your project board, the better way to do it is to click on this tab right here that says Issues, which is on your repository page, and then open a new issue. And this is then where I would say, a bank customer should be able to make a deposit, or whatever my user story is. Over here in the projects on the right hand side, you should be able to click on this, and I made a little test project just to use for the sake of this demo, but if you have a project up, you can see I've been looking at some other projects for other teams. Your project should hopefully show up here so that you can select it to add this directly to your project, and then you should also be able to select the people you want to assign. Of course, I'm the only person in this group, so that's why I'm the only one here, but that was another issue that people were having, was not being able to assign people properly to the tasks. So hopefully this will fix that problem as well. If you need to include an extra description, you can, but then go ahead and create this, and the nice thing about it is that it will now put it on your project board. So if I go to my test project board, we can see that the card has been created. It does put it in this no status category, which I kind of wish that was a little bit nicer, but I'll just go ahead and shift that into the to-do category, and then we're all ready to go pick up with the process from there. So if you have tried to set up your project board, I would ask that you, unfortunately, I know this is duplicate work for you, but I would ask that you redo your cards, especially if they haven't been completed yet. If your cards have already been completed, if you actually got a really jump start on the project and you actually implemented some code and made pull requests and merged code, you don't have to redo those. Don't freak out too much about it if you've already merged code. I don't want you to delete anything that's already been completed, but if you haven't started on the task yet, if it's still sitting in your to-do column, please take a few minutes to remake those cards, and sorry again that you have to redo that work. That's totally my bad for not figuring that out ahead of spring break, but hopefully that should resolve any issues that you have now. The last announcement that I have for you before I'm gonna shut up and get out of here is just to take a look at the calendar real quick. And I mentioned this a little bit before, but from now on it's work days. So the goal in this class going forward is for you to treat this project like it's your job. I literally want you to spend the hours that you would spend in this class working on this project. So class time is not going to be me talking. I'm going to be done talking here very soon, and give you this time to work on your project. So class time is a great time for you to meet with your groups. You know that everybody is free during this time, right? Because they're enrolled in this class. So class time is a great time to meet with your groups, to touch base on whatever your groups need to touch base on. I know that some of you were assigned groups over spring break because you didn't have one. So today, if you need help getting set up, getting your project set up, making sure everything's up and running, be happy to do that. But otherwise, I technically need to see you here unless you have a reason to be here. I would say treat class more like office hours going forward. I'm not going to be talking about any new content. I'm not going to be giving you any new information. My goal from here on out is to help you do as well as possible on these projects. So I'm available to get you unstuck if you run into problems with the project, if you're unclear about what's being asked of you. I'd be happy to go through it again. But there is no more new material. The one super duper big exception to that is next week on Wednesday. That's when iteration 1 is due. That's when we're going to be doing our first peer review session. I do want everybody to be here for the first peer review session. I'm assuming that none of you have done peer reviews before, so I want to talk about peer reviews and go through the first peer review together and make sure that we understand what exactly it is that we're looking for and what that peer review process is like. So want to make sure that everybody is clear about what the expectations are. This is what we're doing from here to the end of the semester. We're going to be repeating this process 3 times in 2-week chunks. We got 6 weeks left, so iteration 1 takes us 2 weeks, and then 2 and 3 will be 2 weeks apiece after that, and then we're done. That's it. That's all I have as far as announcements go. Are there any questions before I cut off the recording and start walking around and check in? Yeah.
You said that you wanted people to look at pull requests. Is that everyone that's supposed to look at them before we merge them in?
So I mean, yeah. The question is, who needs to look at the pull requests before you merge them in? I didn't put a hard limit on it. I mean, at least one other person, I would say, needs to look at it. Does every single person on your team need to look at it? No, not necessarily. I don't think I'm going to be upset about that. But if your team is small enough and your program simple enough, it's also not unreasonable to think that everybody could look at all of the pull requests and provide their approval. But I'll leave some of that up to you to determine through your own team dynamics. Any other questions I can address with the group as a whole before I start walking around and checking on groups individually? All right, great. Give me a second to shut this off and then I'll come around.